Hey friends, I am excited to share with you some of what the Lord has taught me in these areas of time management and priority. This is a really challenging thing, I think, for most women, certainly moms, certainly working women. Really all of us, we all juggle a whole lot. College, husbands, children, friends, and just the demands of the world. And so I feel like this topic is just so relevant to our lives inside this challenge, but also just in general. So I shared with you in the writing just some thoughts from Scripture about how the Lord expects us to use our time wisely and to consult Him and to acknowledge Him. And I have been reading through the book of John, and like I told you in the writing, this is a real struggle for me. It's something that the Lord has just repeatedly had to drill into me. And so as I've been reading through the book of John, He's continued to teach me these lessons in ways that were really unexpected. And so I'm going to share two of those with you today. First, in John 1, where John the Baptist is talking about Jesus and kind of introducing him in the very beginning. John 1, verse 15. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, "This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me." So Jesus has always been. He's been from the very beginning of time, even though we don't hear his name, his earthly name Jesus, until the New Testament. Christ, the Lord, has been part of the Trinity forever. And I love that John is pointing out the fact that, yes, he has always been, and he comes before me. Even though you've seen me first, Jesus came before me. And so what that tells me is that the Lord had a plan, and he had his priorities in order, and he knew what the fullness of time would be in order to send Jesus. And he's not haphazard. He's had a plan from the very beginning. And I just think that is so sweet. That's so sweet of him to share with me just that little glimpse in Scripture and how it relates to, let's don't be all over the place. We got a plan. We got something to accomplish here. Let's work on it in an orderly fashion. So I love just how specific God is, and that he was not going to allow his plan to unfold. In fact, Jesus says that in several times in the book of John as the people are asking for signs. The fullness of time has not yet come. So I just love that he tells us that about who he is, that he appreciates how we use our time and the planning of it and the priority of it, because he clearly has already done that in the great big plan. The other one that I wanted to share with you is from John 4, and this is the section where Jesus is talking about the whitened harvest. It may or may not be familiar to you if you've studied this book, but basically Jesus is saying, he's telling a parable about how, like, the time is now to work and to share the gospel and to pull others into the kingdom of the Lord. And he does this through a parable about a field and saying that the harvest is ready, but the workers are few. And he says this sentence, or he makes this statement in verse 34 of John 4. Jesus said to them, "My food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work." And what this tells me is that Jesus was really committed to staying on task. And yes, it is true that this is a parable and a story about staying on task to save souls for eternity. Yes, but it also gives me a glimpse into the character of Jesus, which is to be focused, to be all in the work that he's doing, and to complete it. And we can have that same attitude towards whatever the work is that is before us, whether it's to finish this challenge, to meal plan for tomorrow, to carve out 30 minutes for our workout tomorrow, or to commit for the long haul to a healthy lifestyle. I believe, and I hope that you will join me in believing, that Jesus has called us, the Lord has called us to use our time wisely, to redeem it, to stay on task, to stay focused, and to acknowledge Him as we move through using our time wisely, because as we do each step of the way, He's going to reveal and direct our paths into where we go next from there. So I hope this is an encouragement to you. Time management from the world's perspective can be really troublesome, in my opinion. And I pray that as you look and understand who God is and the character of the Lord, that you will be encouraged that we can do this if we place ourselves, if we surrender to Him, and we choose to use our time in a way that glorifies and brings honor to Him.